Binding refers to resolving function call with function definition. There are two types of binding: early or compile time binding, late or runtime binding. Compile time binding. Here function call is resolved with function body at compile time. There are two ways to achieve this binding: function overloading, operator overloading. Runtime binding. Here function call is resolved with function body at runtime. This type of binding is achieved using virtual method and overriding concept. Example, think of a Blu-ray player. When you put a regular DVD in the player, what happens? How about when you put a Blu-ray disc in the player? The interface of the player is same as both types of media, but the behavior is different. Internally, there is a different implementation of action playing a disc depending on what the type is. Media play, Blu-ray, play, DVD play. Class media player, public static perform media ref dot play. Polymorphic call, Blu-ray player dot perform new DVD. Blu-ray player dot perform new Blu-ray DVD. So that can be, so inside a media player we can have Blu-ray disc and we can have a DVD disc, and we are playing both. So this is an example, real life example of polymorphism. Suppose if you are in classroom, that time you behave like a student. When you are in a market, at that time you behave as a customer. When you are at home, at that time you behave like a son or daughter. Here one person present in different behaviors. In shopping malls behave like a customer. In bus behave like passenger. In school behave like student. At home behaves like a son. Person behave virtual method. Customer, student, son. Behave like a customer, behave like a student, behave like a son. Polymorphism. Polymorphism is an ability to appear in many forms. It refers to ability of the system to call correct implementation of methods with the same name. So it refers to ability of system to call correct implementation of methods with the same name. That means one can appear in many forms. Polymorphism adds enormous flexibility to programs. In general terms, polymorphism allows the same code to have different effects at runtime depending on context. For example, engineer as well as manager class might have a method called calculate salary. However, at runtime, depending on whether the underlying object is of type engineer or manager, correct version of method is called. Example 1. Account get rate of interest method. Saving account, current account, fixed deposit, RFD. A method calculate interest account ref. The above method pass type of account. The method will calculate interest for that particular account type, which is late binding. Example 2. An abstract class called animal. On it, animal has a method called make a sound. Now, since animal is abstract, there is no code inside make a sound method, because animal expects a more specific type to define make a sound works. So let us say you make a dog class that inherit the animal class. Because dog inherit animal, dog is required to define functionality for the make a sound method. Inside that method for a dog, would you put console.writeLine bark. Now let's say you have cat class. So first was dog, now we have cat. Inside the mica sound method for a cat class, you would put console.write meow. A method check sound can take any animal, dog, cat. Using ref, we will invoke make a sound method let binding which will correctly invoke the method of object we have passed.